dating someone that has completely different eating beliefs than you, I've been there. I dated a vegetarian and I dated a vegan. When you go into a relationship where someone eats differently from you, it really isn't going to be as bad as you are probably thinking it is. If you are going out with a vegetarian, it's going to be a little bit more harder than it actually is going to be. A lot more harder if you are a carnivore dating a vegetarian as opposed to a carnivore going out with a vegan. It sounds weird, right? Because you think vegan, you think that they don't eat anything that comes from animals, or it's just going to be death for you. Like, you're not going to be able to have an Oreo without milk. So how the hell are you going to be able to do that? Because the vegan doesn't eat anything that comes from an animal. But believe it or not, vegans pretty much have exactly the same stuff that we eat, they're just made differently. The reason that it is easier for you to go out with a vegan than it is for you to go out with a vegetarian is if you go out with a vegetarian and they don't want you eating meat around them, or you're married to the person, or you're living with them, you have to pretty much stop eating meat with them, like at dinner or something like that. You'll just have to eat vegetables, which is going to be a lot harder because you're going to be craving meat and you won't be able to have it because this guy's a vegetarian. If you go out with a vegan and you are craving meat, they have things that substitute for it. They have hot dogs and things like that, just like we do. They have hamburgers that we do, but they're not actually made of ham or beef or anything like that, or any type of an animal. They're just made from soy or vegetables, and they taste exactly the same as meat, if not very similar to it. So it's going to be easier for you to date a vegan than it is going to be to date a vegetarian, which might be pretty shocking, believe it or not. When you go out with anybody that has completely different eating beliefs than you, first thing you need to do is talk to them and find a happy medium. So if you are just dating this person, you really don't have as much of a problem as if you are moving in with the person, living with them, engaged, and all that stuff. Because if you are just in a relationship with the person, when you go out to eat with them, ask them if they would feel okay if you eat meat in front of them. They'll either say yes, they'll either say no. And if they say no, all you have to do, is just eat whatever you want to eat that doesn't have meat in it, or whatever they believe is wrong in it. And when you're done and that person isn't there, go home and eat it. Eat whatever you want. Because they're not there, they're not going to pick on you for what you eat, they're not going to be disgusted by it, or anything like that. If the person says yes to you eating what you believe in front of you, then you'll be fine. It won't change your eating habits. So talk to the person, especially if you were just dating this person, if they feel comfortable with you eating certain things in front of them. And they will either say yes, they'll either say no. If they say no, go home and eat whatever the hell you want, because they're not going to be there to pick on you or judge you. If you are moving in with a person, this is where it's going to be a little bit tricky. When you are moving in with someone or you're living with someone, you need to be open to other people's foods. Like, you start dating a vegan or a vegetarian, you need to try out foods that they eat and figure out ones you don't like and which ones you do like. So when you guys actually have to eat a meal together, you will have something that you both like. If you are going into a relationship with a person and you still want to have meat or something in the house, flat out ask them, hey, is it okay if I have some kind of meat in the house? I swear I won't cook it for you, I'll eat it on my own time. They'll either say yes, they'll either say no, which might make things easier or harder. Because if you're dating a vegetarian, they don't even want meat in the house, clearly you have to go out to eat meat. If you're, well, you should be allowed to eat really whatever you want, but you just can't eat it in front of them. If you are dating a vegan, it's going to be a lot easier for you, especially if you're moving in with them, because you can have stuff that tastes exactly like meat, exactly like milk, and all the same stuff that you are used to eating, but it'll just be made differently. Now, if you are a carnivore and you are going into a relationship with someone that eats differently, you're the person that has to change, because those people think that what you eat is wrong, so they're not going to change the way that they eat to you because they think it's completely wrong. So if you're a carnivore going into a relationship, it's not going to kill you to stop eating what you have to eat or change the way that you eat because